Greetings, all of the participants in person and virtually. Me, Devi Acharya from Nepal. I will share the two contexts. One is the classroom assessment for enhancing learning and recovery, and then how the classroom assessment practice in the Nepali school, and what kind of challenges we have in the school also. So this could be the beneficial to know about the challenges and to know more about the classroom assessment practice as I present here. Okay, slide is changing. Yes. Then I have presentation the dimension of the assessment, then the assessment policy in school education of Nepal, then the classroom assessment practice school in Nepal, the shifting public examination to classroom assessment. The things is the issue regarding the public examination during the COVID, then the challenges and the strategy. Some strategy I just explore. When we're talking about the assessment, many times in the many forms, there are so many different dimensions on the assessment, the different perception toward the assessment. Student perception could be different in the assessment, parent perception could be different, school and teacher, and the government agencies and other agencies also. They understand assessment as a different forms. Then as a whole, the different purpose, we know all know that for learning as learning and off learning. But in the different agencies involving in the assessment, the teacher in classroom, school also as a school-based assessment, the external agency and to conduct the public examination, and some international agency also conducting the student assessment. So the different agency are involving in the student assessment for the different purpose, and they have different perception to the assessment. So in the true sense of the student learning, the classroom assessment and the teacher involvement in the assessment could be more contribute to the student learning. Then in the Nepal, we have in the education system, basic education, the 1 year kindergarten to grade 8, and the secondary education 9 to 12. And in the assessment system, there is in the grade 1 and 3, there is total continuous assessment system. Mean the school or the teacher have full autonomy to conduct the assessment in the grade 1 to 3. Then in the grade 4 to 7, there is the continuous assessment system and school-based assessment. And again, then grade 9 and 11, there is school-based assessment. We have public exam in the grade 8. The grade 8 public exam in of the basic education, the local government in the federal context, all the local government are responsible to conduct this grade 8 examination. Then in the public exam in grade 10 also, but in the document and in the latest, just in the 2015 new constitution, the restructuring the country as a federal, but in the province public exam in grade 10, the document or the policy provide to the province government, but it is not practiced yet. And then the public exam in the grade 12, federal government, and there is the National Examination Board we have, and the Education Review Office conducting the national achievement of student assessment periodically. When we're talking about the practice of continuous assessment in Nepali school, there is then the classroom assessment practice is quite not implemented as per its inspiration or intention. Policy are strong. I mean, I just shared the assessment policy for the classroom assessment, but the practice is some kind of lacking is there, weak. The students are not getting feedback properly, and the feedback is important. So sometimes to make the recovery or to gain the learning loss or the other continue learning process, the feedback is most important, but the feedback is not embedded with the learning assessment in the classroom. And sometimes student-teacher ratio, teacher capability, and classroom environment also affect the classroom assessment, and the socio-cultural factor also. I just, again, the next slide also we are discussing on this. Sorry. Yeah. Then what exactly the classroom assessment in contribution to the learning recovery, to recover. When we talking about the classroom assessment, it has the greater autonomy to teacher conduct the assessment, choose any strategy, and to provide the feedback or use any diagnostic tools. Then the teacher can use the multiple approaches and the timely feedback when the assessment could link with the timely feedback and the individual support, and the diagnose the learning difficulty, and the informal approach, not in the same way the formal assessment, and the multiple times. It says some scholars said by minute, and the flexible instruction plan based on the classroom assessment, teacher autonomy, or the teacher can make the different flexible instruction plan, learning difficulty identification, and the student motivation to learn. Mean the no formal test, no stress and test anxiety, then the student will motivate to learn. This could be the classroom assessment, the characteristics or the attributes enhance student learning and the recovery, the loss also. And then in the classroom assessment framework, I would like to share this the process. In the many cases we have the classroom assessment and the teaching learning part could not be joined in the system, the separate activity. Sometimes school or teacher just take the test and then they left the test and again starting the teaching learning process, and then they take the test and the teaching learning process. So the classroom assessment should be under no linearity. It must be in cyclical. And the teaching learning activity, it could be in the classroom assessment activity, and then it could be in the feedback and support. In the feedback and support to conduct the classroom assessment for learning, as learning, means the class work, homework, oral question, group work, project work, class participation, discussion, pair work, assignment, and so on activity could be embedded with the classroom teaching learning process. And the classroom teaching and classroom assessment could be they go with the jointly manner. So this is not in the linearity process. It might be in cyclical and back and forth also. It could be in the when we have developed the strong classroom assessment system, or when we developing the systematic classroom assessment system, then we can shift the public exam to classroom assessment. It is not necessary to conduct all the crises or the emergency like COVID in the future also, and the many things we could not be halt the education system due to the public exam. Yes, validity question will arise in COVID pandemic when in the public exam the school has assessed the student their own way. There is the validity question will arise. Sufficient learning data was not available in the school in that time in the COVID. Classroom assessment practice and record keeping system found weak, and the testing culture influenced the assessment system. Then during the pandemic, so many time will be spent in the conducting the public exam. But if we effective implementation of classroom assessment can measure student learning precisely, so the variety of assessment strategy can be used by the teacher. Then the systematic record keeping system will support to create learning data with evidence. This shifting the classroom assessment with the strong connection with the record keeping, and then the classroom assessment can measure student learning better than the public examination. And then the public exam could be shifting to with the greater autonomy to the teacher in the classroom assessment. Then in the shifting the public exam could be the classroom assessment. And in the school, in the education system, there are so many challenges to such kind of implement the classroom assessment. Teacher capability, the testing culture, some kind of testing culture. The school says that the parents need to taking test to the child. Yes, student teacher ratio in some cases. Classroom assessment has not been useful for the purpose of assessment for learning. Just the assessment. This is also going to in the assessment of learning. When it comes in the assessment of learning, it could not be contribute to the effectively. And then the classroom assessment cannot be effective if student responsibility is not activated. Means when the classroom assessment embedded in the teaching learning process, then it should be, or it could be activate the student by their own learning. Then the authentic assessment has not been practiced adequately. When the classroom assessment goes in the effective manner, then the authentic assessment will be the link. The teacher mentoring program is not sufficient to develop the capacity. The school autonomy for selecting the assessment strategy has not established. Means let's do your assess your child by yourself sometime, some kind of strategy we have to. And the conducive learning environment also affecting the implement or the classroom assessment in the school. So then what could be the strategies to more effective the classroom assessment? The teacher capacity development system, the training, workshop, mentorship, The strong monitoring and support mechanism should be established at local level and school level. The activating the student responsibility to their learning and their learning practice should increase. The authentic assessment practice should be emphasized. And then the learning diagnostic tool, we talk many times, but in the exactly the what kind of diagnostic tool could be, who developed the diagnostic tool. This is the issue. So if we develop some kind of diagnostic tool to implement in the classroom assessment, this could be helpful. The teacher autonomy to select the assessment strategy. Sometimes we just talking about the teacher autonomy in the classroom, but sometimes of school have used the authority to control the teacher autonomy. The local government also try to control the teacher autonomy, and the policy implementation and advocacy should be in the place. The to assess social emotional skill and other non-cognitive skill also, the classroom assessment could be the best strategy to assess the non-cognitive skill for the children. And then the using the classroom assessment for in the learning recovery, then they to recover the learning loss or the accelerate the learning. The rapid classroom, rapidly we can conduct the classroom assessment. The sharing the minimum learning objective and learning milestone for the children's. The teacher in the promptly feedback. The learning progression record tracking, record keeping system. And the struggling content area should be identified and give more focus on that particular content area. And the teaching, learning, and assessment should be integrated in the pedagogy also. And the multiple assessment strategy can be incorporated. This is the strategy to incorporate to the classroom teaching learning process, or let's say the pedagogy. Then the classroom assessment itself could contribute to the learning recovery. In the conclusion, classroom assessment effectiveness depends upon teacher autonomy and the competencies. If the teacher autonomy and the competency, the hindering this practice, and the classroom assessment has a greater flexibility in classroom to assess student learning progression, and the classroom assessment provide timely feedback and support to enhance student learning. These all the things contributes to enhancement of learning and recovery. So now our shifting to give the autonomy to the teacher to conduct the classroom assessment. This could be in the contribute to the enhancement of learning and recovery. This much my sharing. Thank you. If any concern and query, please.
Thank you so much, Devi Acharya ji, for your presentation. And now I would invite any questions from the online participants. I don't see any
yes, I got one concern about the rephrase, means how is the reporting of the score done for high stake exam, especially regarding reporting in the skill of the students, so the strategic communication to help public understand the word the score.
I think Shehzad has written that a very good initiative to introduce school-based assessment. My question would be, Devi Acharya, that you know, you in your I think first or second slide you showed classroom assessment and plus SBA. Both you showed that you are doing in, I think, classes grades 4 to 7. So how are you differentiating these two, classroom assessment and the school-based assessment, and how you are integrating in your slide? I also saw a mention of learning as assessment. So how you are integrating assessment as learning in your classroom assessment?
Yeah,
thank you so much.
I mean the school-based assessment, in the context of the school-based assessment and the classroom assessment, in the classroom assessment, teachers have the autonomy to use the strategy or to assess the student. When we, in the case in the school practice, when we're talking about the school-based assessment, the school have taken the trimester exam in the every 3 months. And then there is a trimester exam, and they prepare the paper, and they distribute the admit card, and they have the seat plan. Formal examination process could be the school conduct the assessment by themselves, by their own purpose, but the assessment practice is the more formalized process. But when we're talking about the classroom assessment, the school teach only on single teacher or the subject teacher have autonomy to design the assessment in their own classroom. When I talk about the school-based assessment, school as an organization, as an agency to conduct the assessment. Yes. When I talk about the classroom assessment, the teacher as an individual agency to determine the assessment activity and to assess the student. I just sharing this that way.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for the clarification. So we have one question from Shehzad, and after this, I would request Somaya to take up the questions from the face-to-face participants. So from Shehzad, the question is, how realistic is to achieve authentic assessment by teachers when we know the capacity issues of the teachers in their ability to measure students' content, knowledge, and assessment? How long it could take to achieve this target?
Yeah, I think when the teacher could be in the capacity to assessment activity integrate with their teaching learning plan or the daily teaching learning activity, and they make the systematic approach, then the capacity issue could be the designing the assessment activity to with interlinked with their pedagogy or the daily teaching learning practice, or let's say each and every activity. They could be the integrate the assessment activity, then they just the recording also and the providing feedback also. Just in the some many cases I observed the classroom, the teacher just conducting first they teaching, then in the last they just assess the student, then that could be the already miss the some strategy in the teaching. So the teaching and assessment could not be separate activity. This could be the jointly in the sense that could not be the different activity. In the teaching assessment, it could be back and forth. But when the activity could be in the separate way, then the some student will be the lost in the learning progression. So it could be when the teacher capacity increase in the mostly, then the assessment could not be contribute to the student learning is our intention or as inspiration. Yes. Could you remove the next one? My video is so blurred, so this is the my okay. I will try to. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Devi Acharya. Yes, I think it does answer the question. So now the floor is open to Somaya, please.
Thank you. We do have questions from the floor. We have actually 3 questions from the floor. So I'll give first. Oh, yes, 3. So first of all, I give the floor. Can you just also introduce yourself?
Hello. Hello. My name is Tol. I'm from Mongolia. Hello, Devram.
Hello. Yeah.
You know me?
Yeah, Tol. I know. I know. I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I have a question.
Yeah, please. Oh, nice to see you.
Actually, my country has conducted a national level assessment for defining COVID-19 learning gaps. And 60% of students has some kind of learning gaps. So have Nepal has conducted any national level or any classroom level assessments for defining
learning loss
after the pandemic?
Yeah.
If yes, please share some of your experiences and what were the results and the activities you are trying to improve the loss.
Thank you for the concern. We just conducted last year the national assessment in the grade 5 to know the learning loss status. We are now in the process of generating the data. I think it will take 2 or 3 months. We will share the result, what is the level. In the grade 5, we conducted the national assessment to find out the learning loss. And then before the education summit also, then we are planning to conduct the one next rapid assessment in the grade 3 also to know the learning loss status. I will definitely share with you when we get the data. Okay. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you very much. There's 2 more questions. If that's all right, we'll take the 2 questions and then we'll give the floor to the speakers to answer. Right.
Thank you very much. I'm Saeed Ahmed from Bangladesh.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah.
It's a very interesting initiative. I have 2, I think, concerns. One is, of course, we know the problems of, public exams. So the approach that you are taking is really good. But one, I think we need to face the challenge of polarity management. Like in the public exam, it's everything is like, it's kind of standardized, but in the different teacher will have different take on it. So how we standardize it, focusing on the, training and everything. But the other concern that I have, for instance, in Bangladesh, in the public schools, the teachers' performance, the school performance, sometimes determine the money they get. Like, these are like schools, which means the result and everything. So the teacher have a stake to make sure the students' results are shown better. So conflict of interest, so I think that's something we'll probably have to address in issues like this. But thank you very much.
Yeah, your concern is quite good. But when we the public examination with the high stake examination, then this kind of the demerit or this is the pro, this kind of let's say the wrong practice could be in the arise. And then when we give the autonomy to the teacher to conduct the assessment, and the giving the autonomy could be in the teacher, could be the accountable and responsibility. I believe that. Yes. So the high stake in the formal examination, we have some government, sir, or the other external agency also emphasize that much of high standard, high stake exam. But when we develop the system to the teacher, then I think the teacher will be the accountable and the responsible for that kind of the practices also. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. And now for the last question from Bangkok side.
Thank you, Sumaya. Devi Ramji, namaskar. Amit Kaushik from the Australian Council.
Oh, yeah. Namaste. Yeah. Meetings.
Good to see you here.
Yeah.
Thank you for a very interesting presentation. I think my question was, how is Nepal dealing with the whole issue of decentralization of education to the provinces in making sure that the relative capacities of teachers for classroom assessments and school-based assessments is maintained? It's consistent. How do you make sure it's consistent? Does the federal government have any role there, or does ERO have some kind of a role to make sure that some consistency is maintained?
Yes. Now the ERO have not that much of mandate to. We have just the mandate to the conducting the national assessment, as you know. But we are in just the implementing the federalization after 2015. The local government just spend their one tenure, and the next new elected government representative are there. So in the federal level also, I think we are not able to decentralize the public exam grade 10 at the province level. So let's say without hesitation, we are in the process of the transition or the process of the established of the decentralization and the federalization practice in the school. I already shared some kind of practice when we giving the right to education for the local level. We have 753 local government. They are just controlling some kind of examination practice from the local government. When already we are provided the authority to the school, but the government, local government are wanted to conduct this assessment by themselves, except doing the autonomy to the school. I mean, if we are integrated with the classroom assessment in the autonomy to the teacher, then the government or the agency, we just look at how the student will learn or the progress or the quality, something like that. We are not interference to conduct the assessment. Yes, we are just trying to interfere or the control the assessment practice, not support giving the autonomy to the teacher also. Let's say we are in the concern, we are in the doing in the process, we are also in the some kind of transition. But this year, this coming 2 or 3 years, it will be go smoothly, I hope. Yes.